So let's start with the sheep woman. And just like most men don't even know that some clitorises, some clits, have a hood that's a bit thicker than others. And so, for example, a sheep woman, she has a tunnel-like hood that covers her clit. It's a bit thicker, a bit more like the clit is inside, coming out of a tunnel when it's aroused. Another is the puffy, sometimes round shape of her vulva. Puffy and round, nice puffy round vagina, which frequently has a distinctively rosier color. Even if the woman is black, she will have still a bit more of a going towards the rosy violet right there in that area of the vulva. And they usually like rather vigorous stroking or sucking of the hooded tunnel that covers the clitoris. There was one man that I believe his girlfriend or whoever he was prior to me had that kind of pussy. And so he didn't realize that sucking on mine as hard as he did, or wanting to bite the clit like he would, was very, it was just not appealing to me, because for me, the hood is thinner and smaller and far more sensitive. So please never assume that your pussy, even if you're a woman, I'm saying this, is like somebody else's. Sheep women also have a sweeter taste in terms of their secretions. They have a rather deep inner cave, that tunnel from the entrance of the vagina in. They are fond of extended and deep, heartfelt intercourse. And so sometimes they cry easily. They're the type of women that cry easily. As they sit on the south of the wheel, they respond emotionally, that fire. Often they're very happy when they're making love. They can giggle, they're very fiery. Meaning, yes, even laughter. And because the south is associated with water as well, they are almost always wet. And so you have that heat of the south, but you also have, in our Kodoshka wheel, the south having the element of water. And so that would give you an idea of, this is a sheep woman. And so preparing yourself for her possibly coming way before you ever imagined, or before yourself as well, so you can really, that shows deep intimacy, where you can pace her, it's very beautiful. You can take your time a little bit more because you already know, or you can be prepared for multi-orgasms, but then you have to be prepared, of course. It's not a competition. It's just something that's very intimate, very beautiful to be aware of. And some sheep women will even be wet, even without any penetration, any kind of arousal. And so that doesn't mean anything. You could have kissed her and she could have gotten sloppy wet. It's very emotional, remember? And that doesn't mean that that woman is already ready for sex. No, she could be wet sitting there staring at the ground. Doesn't mean she's an nymphomaniac. Now, sheep women, modern sheep, have evolved. But remember, the stories of the sheep and running in packs. Sheep women are heart-centered women who find their strength by bonding in close-knit social clusters. Their flock. And their demeanor is usually sweet. Something might disturb them, frighten them, or threaten them, and then they'll pull back, they'll pull away, because they're very much into that safety, that, remember, they're emotional. You see? Sheep get agitated if they're not within the sight of the flock. They have an instinct to go along with their group, with their flock. And sometimes they'll follow the herder wherever he'll go, even if off a cliff, the book I remember said. They're followers. They like that safety net. So they might be willing to try something new sexually, but you better know what you're doing. Because if they feel agitated because of insecurity or anything like that, or because they can't see where you're going with this, then. And so women, just really introspect with yourself and, look at your pussy. Take a nice mirror and measure the distance and explore your pussy. And is it small and puffy? Does it have a tunnel-like hood over the clitoris? You can pull that hood back just a little tiny bit. Mine is very small, like I said, because I'm a deer woman. But I've seen the nice, beautiful, puffy ones too. And I believe all of ours are beautiful, but I love a nice, small, round, plump one. As lovers, sheep women have soft, compliant, and caring natures, yet they will also protect those they love. And so they're very protectful, you'll have almost like they're the ones that'll just wrap their legs around you nice and tight. And maybe give you room to breathe. They're very often just very loving, very, again, emotional. And again, the water, very flowy, if there's a river to flow to, And they have a tendency to follow. So that means they will follow you into these different sexual situations if they feel comfortable. They're also so naturally tuned into their emotions. They constantly challenge their lovers to express their emotions and frequently desire deeper, more intimate, heartfelt connections, especially during sex. So these usually aren't wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, whatever. Or if you are a woman and you're a sheep woman and you've been having these wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, whatever, dry, take it, bum, 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 regular shits. And then when you finish, you go, whoa, wait a second. I don't feel like I really got what I wanted, because that emotional is not being satisfied, because that safety, because all those things that are very common to the shape of your pussy and the characteristics of it, all those things that are very, very much a part of your pussy are not being met. They're not being satisfied. And perhaps you're not even aware. And perhaps you're not even happy to always be wet. Maybe you're even embarrassed. But those are things to consider. Whether it's introspection of the self, if you're a woman, or the awareness that, hey man, again, not all pussies are the same. And sometimes it's not so much about you. It's about what you know. And it's about how tuned in you are to endless possibilities. And definitely understanding that things aren't as black and white and as plain as they've been sold to us. More on the sheep woman. Now, in summary, in summary, the direction of the wheel is the south, the place of emotions, water, and giving with tenderness. Now, the south also carries that heat. So there we have also things that come with the emotions, you understand, like anger and passion, etc. The distance between the clitoris and vaginal opening, 2 to 3 fingers. So place your fingers together horizontally, right underneath the clit. For the sheep woman, there will be room for 2 to 3 fingers between the clitoris and the entrance to her cave, the opening, sorry. The shape or size of the hood is long, smooth, and tunnel-like that entirely covers the clit. The inner lips, fairly thin lips, thicker and larger than a deer woman's, but fairly thin. The size of her cave, her tunnel, the entrance of the pussy, from the entrance to where it goes in. You should already know these terms because they're all down below. But that entrance is basically fairly deep, 5 to 7 inches. Location of the fire trigger or G-spot, fairly deep, midway or back deeper. So from maybe halfway in that tunnel, in that cave, to right towards the 3/4 of the way, right around there. Lubrication very wet, temperature very cool, a cooler pussy, whereas a deer woman has very hot, extremely hot temperature. Taste is sweet. Time to reach orgasm, 15 to 20 minutes on average. Types of stimulation, enjoys foreplay, a lot of foreplay. Remember, emotional and physical connection, oral sex, hard sucking, squeezing. Remember I said, yes, his ex probably was a sheep woman because he really was used to that very, just a lot of, anyway, a lot of squeezing of the clitoris and stuff. And so also likes the pubic mound grinding, very emotional, needs a heart connection to experience the fullness of her orgasms. So she'll experience orgasms, of course, but to explore the fullness, the really satisfying ones for her. Implosive and explosive waves when it comes to the type of orgasm. Produces orgasmic waves that move inward, causing the body to curl up like in fetus position. Explosive orgasms. She likes woman on top, doggy style, bowed back, side to side, and the partner's legs between her legs. Just like I told you, she would, just put her legs wrapped around. Preferred male types, likes coyote men because she enjoys grinding. Enjoys other types as well, though, of course. Sexual demeanor, inviting, heart-centered, sensitive, and deeply caring. So this woman has, again, a rounder pussy, And just remember, a big characteristic is that hood, that tunnel-shaped hood.